Hey there, and happy Wednesday. So sorry about coming on a little bit late. I lost my phone, and I couldn't think, where could I lose it in literally 15 minutes? And then I found it, and I'm like, I need to get going. All right, so here I am. I am bringing you card number 3 for Lois Anderson's virtual party, and I'm super excited about today's card because it's full of all the things that I love. So right off the bat, you know that there's going to be blue in the color because that's my favorite color. And I kind of laugh because yellow should be that color. They always say yellow makes you happy, or yellow is a color that means happy. But every time I work with blue, I feel like those cards make me happy. And so, hey there, Julie. I will say today's card is kind of inspired by Julie, and she just joined, even though Lois is my hostess, because every once in a while, I'll see an order come through and I see the products on there, and I'm like, that's what I was thinking, I might want to work with today. And then seeing that kind of went, okay, I am going to work with those products. So here is today's card, the Country Flowers bundle, and then I'm using some really fun designer series paper that I'm going to show you as well. So let me get started here and flip my camera around so that you guys can get a good, oops. Oh, there we go. It's I thought I was pressing the right button and it just wasn't going and wasn't going. There we go. Okay, so here is Lois's code, and thanks so much, you guys, for ordering through her party. I know she appreciates it. I do too. And yeah, so this is the third card of her 3-card series. So once I get done and get my crafting time under me, then I can start sending out her 3-card bundles as thank yous for ordering. So here you can see it in person, the right way. I always hold it up, but then it looks backwards, especially the sentiments and such. So Country Flowers here. This was a bundle that we got to work with when I went to Houston in March. So if you remember that trip, ahead of time, we had the option to sign up for a crafting session one of the evenings, and they had really full days. So it's okay, do I sign up for more entertainment, or do I need downtime? I'm glad I did, because not only was this an option, but there was they gave us 3 choices of different bundles that we could purchase ahead of time. We picked one of the 3, but we were placed at tables with just anybody. So when we were stamping, other people had the Mediterranean blooms, and then I can't think of the name, but I've ordered it since, right away. The one with the cool circles with the dots and the cutouts, and then it has tulips in it, that bundle. So anyway, so we all got to see what everybody else was working with. So this was mine, so I got to bring that home from Houston. And I was really excited about it. I love the cute little milking stools, what I call it, and then the pail and all the different flowers and the different sentiments too. And then these are the dies. I'll be using 3 of them today. So I'll be using the flower, the main ingredients, the stool, the little pot, and the flower, the greenery, I should say. But then we've got the pail and different floral things, the floral images it cuts out. But then it gives us some additional leaves and even a top to put on here. And then this fun little container isn't even a stamped image, but they give us that as an extra, as well as lots of little flowers too that we can just put on for extras. Lots of those. Don't we love it when we can just run one cutout through? You could put 1, 2, 3, 4 dies all at once, on a solid piece of paper, and have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 flowers right there, and then greenery to boot. So so there's that for the dies. Okay, so the fun paper. You guys know I like to show off the paper when it's the first time I'm using it. So this is the Country Woods Designer Series paper. It's 12 by 12. And this first pattern here is the one that I'm using on the bottom base of the card there. And then the back side looks like this. So you guys, when I was in Mexico last week, somebody had taken just a strip of this and kind of tore it. And I literally thought that they took all these different shades of designer series paper and strips and like taped or glued it on Early Espresso because of the way it looks. I thought, man, that person really, you know, put a lot of work into their swap. And then I flipped this over today and went, oh, that's on the back side. Okay, so then we've got this kind of nice wood grain look and dark, and this on the back side of that. And then we've got this nice wood grain, and you guys go, oh, that's right. We used to have wood grain that looked like this. I'm so glad that they gave it to us again because it was so popular. Look at the patina on this. I feel like we used to have an old like butchering table out in one of our sheds that looked like this at one point, probably from my grandparents. Okay, then we've got this wood grain look, and on the back side, kind of a pink patina on that. And I just love how it looks like all roughed up. I kind of have something like this in my bedroom. I have two old frames that somebody threw out on like that junk day or whatever, and I was driving by and I went, you know what? Those are the treasures that you can just pick up and hang on your wall. I probably washed it off and did nothing else because I didn't want it to paint, didn't want to paint it and make it look any better. So we've kind of got this worn wood grain look here, and then the back side of that is here. And then this is the last pattern. So it's got this kind of like a, well, I think like technically it coordinates with wild wheat. So we've kind of got like that goldish yellowish color with some blues. And then this is the other piece that I'm using in today's card that's going on the top part of it there. So, so you can see that. Hi there, Karen. Good to have you on here, and Jody and Julie. So, so I will put these papers aside here, and then I'll get to making the cards. So for those of you that like to color, today might be fun. For those of you that coloring maybe isn't your favorite, this is kind of what I call big chunky coloring. There's big areas, so it's not a little fussy like putsy coloring. You can do this pretty quickly, so I like that aspect of it. Where I'm going to start is with the card base, the smoky slate. That's that lightest gray, and that's just going to fold this way for you guys. And then what I did is took those two different chunks here of the Country Woods paper, Designer Series paper that I just talked about. This one is cut 4 inches by 2 inches, and then this one is cut 4 inches by 3.5 inches. And I'm just going to go ahead and tape this down with my adhesive. So I'll put that across here like so. I don't think there's a right or wrong as far as top or bottom. And by just eyeing it, I kind of want to leave a 1/4 inch across the top there. And then I'm going to do that same thing across the bottom. So I look at this and I go, you know, I really have a tough time cutting this up, but I really love the blue. And I think to myself, Belt's brand new catalog, there's probably lots of this. I have a whole year to buy more. Use it up, cut it up. All right, and then that same thing, I'm just going to eye to make sure that there's about a 1/4 inch there at the bottom, and then just kind of just scoot and press to get that to line up so that these are the same there. Normally I would take like a solid color that coordinates with one of these and just maybe put like a 1/2 inch, kind of what I would call like that belly band or some kind of ribbon or something. But I didn't on here because I think just the way the little picture fits on the stool, it kind of creates that natural look there that I think is fine. Like normally it might bother me, and if you put it on, it would look fine, but I kind of like it just this way without adding more on there. So that's why I left it off when normally I would do the other. So now we're just going to take and stamp out these 3 images and cut those out. Hi there, Sandy. And let me just grab some basic white like pieces here, and I'm going to open up my Memento black ink pad to do all my stamping. That's what I use, that ink pad, when I'm going to be using my blends to color. So I'm just going to ink up this like watering can here, like so. And so like you can see, it's a nice, just big chunky plain image to color. And then next I'm going to take what I call the milking stool, growing up in the farm, I'm one of 7, so there was 9 of us in the house. And so my dad used to milk the cow every day for our family. So we had a stool like that. And then I'm going to ink up the greenery here to cut that out like so. So that's our plant. And those are the 3 things that get stamped, and then I'll cut them out here. So I'm going to just run those through my cut and emboss machine. We'll see if I can do any of these at the same time. I still have my old faithful magnetic platform here that I use all the time, and I tell people I always will because I love it. And yet sometimes it's easy. It makes things like nice to hold in place. But if I try to run multiples, sometimes we have that, you know, that I call it the jumping die if it doesn't like where it's put. And so it could be that I have 3 images that want to sit still perfectly, and then this one might just jump. But it looks like they're all staying put. So it not only saves me time, it saves you guys time watching if I can run them through in one go. So it looks like they're all going to stay happy and on there. So here we have the one stool, and then we have the picture here, like so, and then we've got the greenery here, and those dies are perfect for that. And then, because you guys love to see me color, as you say, hey there, card stamping granny, usually you tune in at night. It's fun to see you this time of the day here. So I'm going to get just a little closer so that you can see me color. I'm going to start with the base here, and that's going to be crumb cake. And so I'll just start with the darker of the 2 colors of crumb cake, and just kind of start by doing a little bit of this in each corner to make it naturally darker, like so, and then just kind of fill in across the bottom like here, and then across the top, same thing. And then I just kind of scribble across that line in the middle. And if you can see, like, there's nothing like fancy or even like nice looking about that. And then I'm just going to kind of trace the inside of the legs here on this. And I kind of go away from it in the corner so I can go back and fill in and make the corners on the bottom a little bit thicker too, so that it kind of has that natural shadow or shading look there. Just going to fill in a little bit at the tops so that it looks 3D, like it might because of the shading underneath a stool. So we've got that, and then I'm going to come back with the light crumb cake and then just kind of fill in everything that hasn't been. And as I do that, you can see me kind of pulling from the top, middle, and bottom to get that blending going as it pulls away there. So where I've kind of scribbled and left those scribble lines, it'll kind of diminish or make those go away as I pull the 2 together. And if you go, you know what, I'm doing that, just like Belle says, it doesn't always work. You can still see like a little bit of scribble, but I always say within about 5 minutes that can change. But look at how like 3D that looks. I just love the blends. Like for a person that never thought that they'd even like coloring that much, like these just have totally changed my attitude about coloring. Okay, so the next color I'm going to move to is Smoky Slate. And here again, I'll start with the darker of the 2 shades, and I'm just going to go inside the handle here, and then just trace around this. I'll just kind of go up towards the top, but that greenery is going to come into play there. And then at the bottom here, just going to go across that and fill that in. And then the artist, Stampin' Up! Artist has like a little extra mark there, kind of just like that shading mark. So anytime they do that, I try and kind of go over that area. There's another one here, and just kind of fill that in a little bit darker there. So I kind of went over that mark and that mark. And like I said, super easy coloring. So for those of you that might feel like you're a little challenged, this is easy. So now I just go back over this with there again, pulling away from the edges to get the blending. And you can see, like, that doesn't look so great, but give it a few minutes and it will totally blend together. And so I'm just doing this with the lighter of the smoky slate. And just like so. So you can see all those little lines. Give it a few minutes and it will start to kind of fade. And now, if anything, like this one, those kind of scribble lines have faded, but it almost makes this look just like that worn, that old-fashioned worn look. So this one's looking better already in just those few minutes. Okay, so now for the greenery. I was tempted right away to pull out my old olive, and yet I wanted something just a little bit brighter, so I went with Granny Apple Green. And so I was really pleased with the look that the brighter green. I think because maybe some of these tones are neutral or dark, I thought going with something that's a little bit brighter with the Granny Apple Green would be better. And the old olive that I have in my hand here has some brown tones, so it would coordinate well. But like I said, just wouldn't give us the pop. I think it'd be more of a subtle green. So that's why I chose the Granny Apple Green. Sometimes when I have reasoning, I like to share that with you guys. And if you don't agree, then you do your own thing, and that's okay too. Or maybe sometimes it's what you have on hand, and you go, you know what, this is going to work. And how many times have we done that, especially when it's time for supper? It's like, oh, this is what's on hand. Okay, so I'm just starting with the darker of the Granny Apple Green here and following these outside edges and then the veins that go down the middle. And I kind of almost got a little too crazy here in the middle. So you see those little stems, and those are stems. I was almost going to color those in solid, thinking like this is just, you know, all leaves. And then I went, wait a minute, we need some white spots, or, you know, for that white space there. So I was glad I caught that before it was too late, because I could get coloring away just thinking, oh, this is all going to be, you know, solid green, but just different shades. And then in the tips of these leaves too, I like to go in just a little bit more to make those darker, because that kind of gives that natural look too. Like so. And then doing that, and I just have a couple leaves left. And here again, like some of these leaves, the difference between the leaves are almost like part of a leaf. So I had to kind of go, okay, this is some more white space, not necessarily another leaf. So I've got that. And you can see it doesn't look like perfect, kind of just, you know, loosely going over that with the dark Granny Apple Green. And then when I come back with the light Granny Apple Green, it's just going to kind of take those loose edges away and kind of make everything look smooth and happy, especially after it dries a little bit and finishes the blending process on the way, kind of call it on the way out. Kind of like the scribbles get erased as it dries and the liquid evaporates or something, or the alcohol or whatever in the markers. Okay, so I'm just finishing up that. Sorry about the squeaky. I'll be less heavy on my hand. That might help. Okay, so we've got that, and that's it for coloring. So like I said, we've got kind of these main 3 chunky pieces for the card, and so that makes things go pretty easy. And let me just pop this back up so you can see more of my workspace here. Whoops. Let me tighten my camera here this way. There we go. Get some more workspace in here. And let me pull over now again my card base. So what I'm going to do next is do a little bit more stamping. So in that Country Flowers stamp set, there's a few sentiments. And the one that I chose for today's card says sending love. So let me just ink that sentiment up here in my Memento Black and put it on this strip here of the smoky slate. And so when I measured this strip, it's about exactly halfway in between a 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch. So that would be, oh, where are my math people? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, Yeah, so 9/16, I guess. So that little hash mark, if that helps you. Otherwise, just go, it's not half, it's not 3/4, it's right in the middle, and that's it too. Okay, I'm usually pretty good at math, but when it comes to describing measurements, sometimes I just want to go, it's that one. Okay, we've got that, and, oh, I don't know, I kind of cut off a little piece. I was going to pick it up, throw it away. That's for a different time. Okay, so I kind of know that I want this to go up at the top. And I like how having it on some plain cardstock is subtle because of all the busy kind of neutral designer series paper, but not so stark white either. So it just kind of blends into kind of the theme of the card. And I'm not going to tape this down or do anything yet because I'm going to start building this starting with the stool. So let me get some dimensionals here. And I'm going to put about 3. It gives us some nice area to work with to get some dimensionals on there. I'm going to put this kind of close to the top of the blue here, and then just over a little bit on the side. And then next with the watering can here, or pitcher, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to just put a couple dimensionals on there. And then this, my first one, when I was working with my sample, I felt like there's quite a bit of white, you know, depending on how much your die moves to the top or the bottom or the left and right. Hi there, Renee. And so I actually cut that down a little bit because it almost looked funky. So, you know, this isn't bad, but if you want to, if you feel like yours looks just a little too white, because you're going to want that to sit pretty evenly on that stool, you just kind of go and just give that kind of a trim like that if you want. It's up to you. And then that I'm just going to set right on top of the stool here. And then I'm going to just flip over the greenery and give that about 3 dimensionals here as well. Okay, and take those tops off. And then we've got, whoops, this going like so. And because there's that white across the top, you want to just make sure that it just covers that up like so. So we've got that there. And then I'm just going to flip over our top, and I kind of keep it there just so I know, like, okay, I'm not getting over too far and I'm not getting this up too far, but not taping it down. Then I can always be a little bit flexible with that. And then once that's all together, I just kind of put this just so it's kind of like just up above it a little bit, and it just is kind of pleasing to the eye that way. So we've got that. Hi there, Priscilla. Good to have you on here. So that kind of like, I almost felt like I could do, you know, just leave it like that or add just almost like a little piece of like twine or something. I wasn't sure. But then I went, oh, we have these new embellishments that I'm in love with, and it's the basic gray and smoky slate pearls. So we've got those 2 colors, and in the large size and then the smaller size, those 2 colors, and they both looked well with this. So what I did is just took 1 large of the darker and then 1 of the lighter, but the smaller size. And so you guys know me, I usually put 3. And I tell you what, I'm actually going to pick this up here maybe and go, you know what, this is why. Sometimes you wonder, like, okay, why did she do something? Why didn't she do something? Like, if I put 3 here, that kind of, it looks okay, but it wasn't my favorite. If I put 3 over here, I thought that's okay, but kind of goofy. I wasn't sure. Put it here and it looked like, okay, is it raining on there and dropping from the sky? I don't know. I just couldn't get it to look nice, or even sometimes adding something on there is okay, but it just wasn't like hitting me like, oh, I really like that. But what I really liked most of all was just 2. And so I don't know if my eye was grasping, you know, the rule of 3, or, you know, being odd as being 1, 2, and this being like 3, centering it. I don't know, but that's what I ended up with and really liked it. So that's how it is. All right. Now for the inside, I can also show you what I almost did and what I ended up doing. So, you know me, I like to kind of try and follow through with something on the inside, and these are pretty large images, so you kind of have to watch how that looks. Like I could put some greenery in there, or just the watering can, but I tell you what, without like a complete top, because that watering can just kind of has an open-ended top, so that wasn't a good choice, you know, from the get-go. And so what I did is I stamped out, and you could see it's all wrinkled up because I stamped out this stool, and I thought, well, I'll put that in there. And it just looks really goofy. Like it just looks like a timeout chair now in there. And so the reason this is all like tore up and crumpled is I ripped it out right away. And so I thought, you know what, sometimes like less is more. And so I'm just going with a blank inside. And with the sentiment on the front that says sending love, I'm like, you know what, we can just have a blank inside that can be used for any type of thing. It can be just like a thinking of you, a happy birthday or something like that. So we've got that here, and then the blank inside, which, like I said, you guys know me, I usually like to fill in with something, but sometimes just leaving it blank is the most pleasing. So that is that. So that is card number 3 for Lois Anderson's virtual party that we've got going online. So she wants to keep her party open until May 22nd, I think is the day that we decided on. And so that gives you some time to look over the new catalog. And just a note about that. So the new catalog, if you haven't received yours, and normally do from me, we have until May 9th, which is tomorrow. If you haven't received it, let me know tomorrow after you get your mail. And if not, then I can contact Stampin' Up! And have them resend that out to you, because I have paid money for them to send it out to you. So they need to kind of follow through with those that didn't make it. I feel sorry for them too. It's frustrating for me. But the end game is we all are on the same page and want you to have that catalog in your hands. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And even if you're hesitating, I don't know if I get a catalog from Belle or not, just ask, and maybe I'll send you one even if you weren't on my list. So that's okay too. All right. So, oh good, Lois, I'm glad you love it. I love it when my hostesses say, oh, I love the card, and it's their party. So that's a win-win right away. And another thing to not forget is the joining special in May. So there is a fun special going on right now. If you are interested in joining my team, please reach out to me. You can get a lot of in-color products this month. So there's the usual like join for $99, pick out $125 of product, but we have like the in-color 5-pack of markers, the 5-pack of ink pads, the cardstock, and the Designer Series Paper 6x6 paper pack that you also get just automatically ending up in that box with your starter kit. So that's like, gosh, it's a lot of, I haven't added it up, but it's a lot of extra product for joining in this month of May. So that's the whole month of May. And like I said, please reach out to me if you have any questions about that joining special, just because it is a fantastic deal. And I finally caught up enough around here and with the business to get out my monthly email, and that explains I think that even better, and it tells you exactly what you'd be getting for extra in your starter kit too. So look for that. Or if you're also watching and want to get my monthly emails, please let me know, and I can always add you to that list as well. So thanks so much. What I've got coming up then is tomorrow or Friday, I'll be just hopping on quick to show you my swaps that I received last week in Mexico. Those are always fun and exciting to share, so I want to do that. And then next week, I will be demoing 3 cards for Dawn Earlbeck's virtual stamp party too. And I have time the rest of the month too to demo some cards. So if you're interested in being a virtual hostess or even setting up something in person with me, please let me know about that too. So have a good night, and I'll see you sometime soon. Bye-bye.